Welcome to the Bullpen, everyone. If you're tuning in internationally, maybe in the U.S., welcome to the last interview of the day. I have George Eastwood with me. My name is Christian Engstrom. I'm founder of the Bullpen, also CEO at Evia Bio. We've had a wonderful day, George. It's been a good day. And you were chairman of today, Rare Disease Day. I think if folks tuned in earlier, they might have seen you doing some interviews, running some panels. Are you happy with the way the day went?
Yeah, extremely so. I think amazing to bring together diverse groups of people, disparate panels with different backgrounds, but connecting the dots and telling the right stories. Really important in the nonprofit space is that ability to storytell and communicate, just like in any other business, and bring in passionate patients and other nonprofits and folks in the manufacturing space that can articulate that story and bring that patient connection to something that's usually so investor-driven and provide some inspiration around why we do what we do. I think it couldn't go much better.
George, you were on the industry side, the for-profit side, done, marginal nonprofit work in the past, but now you've jumped in full-time in the nonprofit world. How's that been different for you?
Yeah, I think overall it's actually harder to collaborate at times. That was an interesting thing that we picked up. Had these grandiose visions that leaving the for-profit world and jumping into nonprofit where we're more passion-driven, there would be a sole focus on committing to the greater good. But kind of naive to think that, right? We still have our own motivations, our own passion. And that's something we're trying to preach at the Emily Whitehead Foundation. How can we band together to raise all tides? Can we connect the dots in the rare disease space, in the advanced therapy space, work a bit closer together? And if we're not equipped to be the one to do something, can we point you to someone who is? I think there is that opportunity. It's just finding the right stakeholders and managing them. But overall, I think it can be pretty similar. The best nonprofits, the best advocacy groups are run like any for-profit business, although we do have to motivate volunteers and rely on a bit more all hands on deck, as I know the Bullpen does a great job of doing in curating the content here too. But I think overall it's been about as good as can be expected, and really bring that ability to bring the stories that motivated me in my for-profit life to other for-profit companies, and on a stage like this is great.
Well, George, we've had a few CEOs stop in today. Today, being Rare Disease Day, we had an amazing young woman, Cece. She has a 5-year-old son with a rare disease. And she came to us with tears in her eyes. And she said, I don't know what to do. I started a company to save my son's life, basically. And what a day to come to this location with the people that were here. I think we had 4 or 5 CEOs that started a nonprofit to do just that, save their child's life. It's pretty heavy stuff, emotional stuff. You do this every day.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is, if you had an ask for the market, how would you get them involved with the Emily Whitehead Foundation? How do you, I emotionally went through the roller coaster today, and you were talking about how when investors get to see that, when partners get to see that, they realize the collateral damage that rare diseases cause in the caregiver part of our society. Not only is the child devastatingly harmed, but the families are, right? What's your ask for the market as you build a coalition of leaders around championing rare disease?
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough to meet Cece today, and I think seeing her diligently taking notes from all the CEOs that were present, all of the members of the Bullpen that listened to her story and connected and gathered information, it's inspiring. Do it every day on my end, but it doesn't stop it from being impactful and make you feel like you're doing the right thing. From an ask perspective, I think you point to a lot of things. You mentioned the caregivers, and one of the things when you look at rare disease and the impact it has, even if you look at the market level, it's the productivity loss of the parents. We don't have the numbers in front of us. It's not necessarily where the Emily Whitehead Foundation is focused. But if you look deeper at the loss of productivity, you could hear it on the panels today. We have a plastic surgeon and a wife who's a surgeon who stepped away. So we have another surgeon not doing their job because of one diagnosis of rare disease. What is that worth to society? And when we look at the impact and the value-based creation of these therapies, I would ask investors, the market, large pharma, to think about that full impact and really push on a policy and legislation level and with our payers and our insurers, what is that full impact and how do these therapies that look expensive in the advanced therapy space actually create value? I think if you dig in those numbers, which we hope to do with the foundation a bit more as we delve deeper into rare disease, you'll find that there is value to be created, but how do you get the right stakeholders in there? I think one of our panelists brought that up, right? The loss of productivity, the so much loss around, but it's different stakeholders. It's not consolidated. So it's hard to say to this venture investor that outside of this return, there's a better societal gain. How do you measure that? And how do you bring the right people in the room to map that out and find a way to solve these problems? So I think that ask is to dig deeper, to work closer with patient advocacy groups, and to start conversations, think about a unique way in which we can approach legislators, approach everyone together around this is the true impact, this is the true value, how can we work together to make it work financially, even for the investor group, because we do need that capital flowing in to make it happen.
Well, George, you're individually a very important member of our group in the Bullpen. I want people to know at home that if they want to go to our website, bullpen.ventures, and search for George Eastwood, they'll have a profile that pulls up for George. They can send George an email directly through our website, bullpen.ventures. If you have ideas, if you have questions, bring them in that way. There's other ways to reach George. That's a very efficient way. Today we had 500 people in and out of the Bullpen, maybe less, something like that, because of your leadership. And the panels you brought out were wonderful, and now we have content to share with the market, George. I'm totally thankful to the dozens of people we have out here partnering, continuing to partner. We have a happy hour coming up from 4 to 7, and I welcome Emily Whitehead to continue partnering with the Bullpen, and we want to resource you and just are very thankful that we're involved. And to folks that are thinking about getting involved in a nonprofit, when it comes to accountability, when it comes to achievement, the Emily Whitehead Foundation has really put together a stellar team. George is a commercial leader. He's had exits in the commercial space. He brings a mind of accountability to a nonprofit, and then also has the heart for the nonprofit. So please contact George. Ask him, how do I help out the Emily Whitehead Foundation? Ask him, how do I help out the rare disease advocates? And George, thank you again. Yeah. Any last words that you want to say to the market?
Yeah, and thanks so much, Christian. And I think the help you can give a nonprofit isn't always dollars, it's time. That, Christian, getting the commitment of time, resources, expertise in the space, and just being a part of the network to connect. Certainly funds go a long way to building the programs that we're looking to look at, and my commercial background comes in handy on that end. So feel free to support financially through any of the work being done at the Bullpen. Really gracious that a lot of the funds that we'll raise through boat rides and others will come to the foundation, but also finding ways to partner, because I think there's a lot of different ways in which we can do so, and open to any and all ways to do so. And I thank you for the time and the invite to connect and sponsor and help host the day today.
Well, everyone, you may have missed it this year. Next year, we're going to be back at JPM. We're going to be back here at the Yacht Club. Hopefully, the Emily Whitehead Foundation joins us again, and we continue to bring resources to something that is just an incredibly painful part of society that we need to band together to work for, and that's rare disease. So thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.